Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the mid-year book tag. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do the tag questions, and then at the end I'm going to go through a little bit of my stats of how I've been doing with my reading so far this year. But let's go ahead and get into those questions. The first question is the best book you've read so far in 2025. So far this year, I've actually only had one 5-star. So that's what I'm putting as the best book I've read so far. And that would be It's Time to Talk to Your Kids About Porn by Greta Eskridge. This is a Christian nonfiction book, and I really, really enjoyed this. I got to read it as an ARC. I was very blessed and happy to be able to read it as an ARC before it came out. It is already out now, though. And if you haven't checked it out or heard of it and you have kids, or you're just curious how to broach the subject topic with a variety of different people, I think it would be very helpful just in general for all that. The author did an amazing job. I was very impressed. Question number 2 is the best sequel you've read in 2025. So this one was a reread technically, but I haven't read a lot of sequels, and that would be The Lost World by Michael Crichton. This is the sequel to Jurassic Park. So I hadn't really remembered reading it. Like, I knew that I read it, but I didn't really remember much from it. So that's definitely been my favorite so far, although I did also read Scarlet in the Lunar Chronicles series. That was the second one in that by Marissa Meyer, and I did really, really enjoy that one. So, like, if I can't use technically a reread, then I'd probably say that. Question number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to. So one that has already come out that I am looking forward to reading, I'm not sure when I'll get to it, but it's definitely on my radar and I want to read it, is Everything's Coming Up Rosy by Courtney Walsh. Have I only read one book? No, I feel like there's been 2 at least. My mind is blanking. But I've only read 1 or 2 books by her. I have enjoyed her writing. I haven't gotten a 5-star from her yet, but this one is all about theater, and I love theater, so I feel like it very well could be, like, if I'm gonna get a 5-star from Courtney Walsh, it very well could possibly be this one. We'll see. Question number 4 is the most anticipated release of the second half of the year. And honestly, I don't really have one. I do not keep up very well with like new releases and books coming out at all. I'm not aware of anything that's like striking my fancy at the moment. So number 5 is what was your biggest surprise this year? So for me, my biggest surprise was definitely The Atonement Child by Francine Rivers. I've heard a lot of mixed things about Francine Rivers, and from what I've heard on those mixed things, I just didn't think that she was going to be much of an author for me. At least a large majority of her books don't sound like they would be. But I did get recommended this one from a friend, and it is basically on the whole abortion topic, pro-life movement, and I'm very passionate and interested in that subject, in that topic. So I was curious to pick this up, and I did, and I loved it. I think she did a really, really good job. It was very thoroughly and well researched, so it definitely surprised me. Number 6 is your favorite newest author, whether a debut or a new to you. And unfortunately, I don't think I have one for this. I realized I've been reading a lot of authors that I already have like read from. So I haven't done as many ARCs this year because of pregnancy. And so I haven't really delved into as many new authors. So I guess I just don't have one this year yet. Number 7 is your newest fictional crush. I don't really have like fictional crushes. I have a wonderful, amazing husband. But if I'd have to say like my favorite male main character, I think Brooks from Love and Other Chances is one of my favorites. He was like really sweet and awesome. Also Alec from Alec Met Evie was adorable. Like, yes, he was like he was checking all the green marks, like, so yeah. One of those 2 probably for like my favorite MMCs. Number 8 is a book that made you cry. For this one, I'm going with Image Bearers, an anthology. This was a pro-life anthology from a bunch of different authors. I adored this one, but it had some very hard and heavy things because it just all through the different subjects of the pro-life movement, from abortion to miscarriage, like all of it. It had a lot of different stories, and I definitely cried quite a few times at a few different stories throughout this one. So yeah. Question number 9 is a book that made me happy. And for this one, I'm going with Authentically Izzy by Pepper Basham. This one made me very happy. Like, just knowing all of the bookish quotes and references and all of this stuff that the book was literally littered with, it made me really happy to just have so much of that all in a book. And I liked and enjoyed the format. It was quick to read, so it definitely made me very happy reading this. Question number 10 is the most beautiful book that you've bought or been gifted this year so far. I think for this one, it's probably my Anne of the Island copy by Ellen Montgomery. I hope you can see that well, but it is beautiful. I love this copy. Was not a 5-star book like the other two were for me, but this copy is gorgeous. So it's probably like my favorite one I've gotten so far this year. All right, question number 11 is what books do you still need to read by the end of the year? And for that, I'd probably say one of the biggest that I want to make priority, besides just my physical TBR, because that's like my biggest priority. I'm trying to get through a lot of my physical TBR, is also my 25 books of 2025 list. And I will go over those in more detail at the end of the video with my reading goals and stuff. So, question number 12 is how many 5-star reads have you had so far this year? I have only had one 5-star read this year. So, I think I'm a very picky 5-star giver. So, I'm kind of a 5-star hoarder. But that's okay, That's how I like it. That's what I do. I did have, on the other hand, though, 4.75 stars that got like really, really close, but there was just something about it that just didn't quite hit and make it 5 stars. If I remember, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, but I will try to like pop them up somewhere for you. Because all 4 of those books were incredible and I really, really loved them, and they were just like so close, and they probably are 5 stars for a lot of other people. Question number 13 is what books do you want to reread this year? And honestly, I haven't thought much about rereading this year because I am so focused on my physical TBR. I don't know if I want to reread anything in particular. Question number 14 is a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. And for this one, I'm going to go with The Atonement Child again by Francine Rivers. There was a lot of mixed views, even from people saying that they were like Christians and they knew, like, they were very upset that it didn't delve more into the sexual assault aspect, since the main character gets pregnant by a rape. But I never got like the impression from hearing about it or reading the synopsis or anything that it was gonna be more focused on that. Like, I felt like it marketed itself pretty well as being more focused on the abortion issue than the sexual assault issue. So I just thought it was interesting because there was a lot of mixed reviews, even amongst those who were like, yeah, I'm Christian and I'm pro-life and stuff, but no. I was like, oh, okay. I was kind of surprised by that. And last but not least, question number 15 is what are your 5-star predictions for the rest of the year? I don't have any. I don't do 5-star predictions, guys. I just like, I think maybe it's because I'm a 5-star hoarder. Like, even when I know like an author or a book series or something, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm gonna love it, like, I'm still not sitting here saying I think it's gonna be 5 stars, even if something else by them is 5 stars. I think for Ellen Montgomery's Anne of Green Gables, after the second one became 5 stars, I was like, wow, is the third one? Like, the third one might actually be 5 stars because this is 2 5 stars in a row. I wasn't expecting that. So I kind of thought that that one would be, but that doesn't happen often for me, that I think, and then it didn't end up being. So I don't predict my 5 stars because apparently I don't know myself well enough. I don't even know. I bet y'all could probably predict if I'd rate something 5 stars before I could. I don't know. I'm such a 5-star hoarder. So we're going to go over some of my reading goals and my stats and so far for this year. We're, 6 months through, and I think I've been doing decently well on everything. So fingers crossed. I am going to briefly go over my 25 books of 2025. So of the 25 books of 2025, I have read 9 of them, and I am currently in the middle of reading 1. So I still have 15 more to go, not including the one that I'm currently reading. So I feel like that's not awful. No, it's not halfway, and it's not the best that I could be doing, but it's honestly a lot more than I thought that I had done. So I'm still proud of myself. All right, and then I did actually have like some reading goals set for this year, and we're gonna just like read through those and see how I'm doing. So the first one is only buy top priority books, and honestly, no, I don't think I've been like only buying top priority books, but I have been like buying and purchasing books a whole lot less in general. So I'm still kind of going to count this one as I've been doing pretty well and been keeping up with it, because I have not accumulated nearly half as much as I feel like I normally do by this point in the year. All right, the second one was to keep up with my book clubs. So I have 2 book clubs that I host and am a part of. One is with 2 of my best friends, and that is just a fun one that we do. I have been doing horrible at that one this year. I have not read any. I could not get the first one through like my library or anywhere. I just could not get it for the life of me. And then the second one I have, and I still have not read. And then the third one, I just did not get around to it. Like I could get that one, but I just didn't get around to it. So I'm not the only one who's behind, but everybody else has at least read one. So we're spending the next 2 months, since we actually didn't have a book picked for just one of these 2 months, to play catch up. So my goal is to try to read 2, if not 3, like all 3 of the ones that I've missed for that book club. But I also have a Christian nonfiction women's book club that I run and host, and I really like that one. We're also doing a book every other month, so one every 2 months here. And so far, I have read every single book for the first 3 months of the year, so I have accomplished that. And then the next goal that I set for myself was to get my physical TBR down under like 250 books or under, which I feel like that was like way too big of a goal. But I have finally gotten it under 100. I did just get some new books as an anniversary gift, but we're just not going to talk about that. I believe it only brought it up to 90 or 91, so we're not doing horrible. There's also a couple books that I might just completely like unhaul, so I might be able to get that down a little bit more. But have I done like the best? No. But I haven't done horrible. So I don't know if I'm going to hit that goal, but I still think I'm going to get like a significant amount off of it. So I believe I've read 20 books off my physical TBR so far this year, which isn't too shabby. So the next goal that I gave myself was to read at least a total of 75 books this year. Now my goal last year was to read 100, and I surpassed that goal. I was so excited, but I knew that I was pregnant this year. I'm having a baby this year. And so I wanted to kind of scale it back a little bit in case, life gets in the way because of all that fun and exciting stuff. So this year I did 75, and I'm actually now on track to make that goal. I was behind for quite a while, but at the end of June, my total book count was 37 of the 75 books read. So not doing too shabby there. And then my next goal was to keep up with my reading journal and to write a very small review for every single book that I've read. Have I been keeping up with my book journal? Not the best. I have been going back and trying to like refill in to catch up, though, a lot more than I normally do. So I'm getting very close to catching up on my main one, and then on books that I don't like as much, because I only have like, I think it's like 60 something reviews in my main one. I have like an extra one that I'm going to use for like the books that I didn't love as much, so that I can like fill the ones that I loved more in my like main journal. But yeah, so I'm almost caught up in my main journal, but have I been keeping up with it the best? No. I am trying when I'm going back though to write that small review, but it's still very hard for me. So. My next goal was to make a 25 of 2025, which I did do, and I only had 5, I believe, that were not on my physical TBR on that list. I did that, and I already updated you on how that's going. So we'll see, if I end up finishing it. But technically my goal was just to make it and have a certain amount of books that were physical TBR, not physical TBR. So I basically accomplished that. All right, and then my last 2 goals of the year was to read 6 Christian nonfiction books and 6 classic books. Now, am I on track to read 6 Christian nonfiction? Absolutely, I am on track, especially since I've been keeping up with my book club. I actually feel like maybe I've read an extra. I can't remember. I'll try to pop them up on the screen somewhere if I remember. But the classics, I'm not actually sure how much I've read. Maybe I'll also pop it up on the screen and we'll see. Did I do bad, or am I hanging in there? I have not been focusing on classics very much this year, honestly. Even though that was something I wanted to, my brain has not been able to compute and do as well on classics. So there's that. All right, guys, that is all of the questions for this book tag and all of my updates on my reading goals. Until next time, I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for joining and listening to my ramblings on about all of these questions. If you haven't done this tag, go ahead and do it. I tag you. You have been tagged. It's fun. Want to see where you're at in the middle of the year. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.